We
I
all
think
know Ant-Man is going to make a lot of
Ant-Man
money.
is forgettable, and Barbie's not going to be forgettable no matter what that movie is. And
Again, it's
in
not
that
about being
regard, that's gonna
forgettable.
be
It's
interesting.
about this
It's
being
something to talk
disappointment.
Welcome everyone to the League of Cinephiles. I'm your host, Alex Aller. Joined by me is Luke from Luke Reviews, and we have another Cinemores to bring to you guys. With the prompt today, Luke, being what will be the most overhyped movie of 2023? Luke, we had a great year of movies in 2022. What do you think of this prompt, and what movies come to mind? You think this prompt is going to be relevant when we get to at the end of 2023?
Oh, absolutely. There's always some movies that you just think has massive fan base before the year starts, and then when it comes up, maybe it disappoints. And this year we have an absolute stacked roster of
Yeah.
blockbusters, and look at probably at least one of them.
Yeah,
has to be.
there's some that are bound to disappoint, right? So it's like, right, if these two competitors here get, that one movie right that we think is going to bomb at the box office, do bad with audiences and critics, that kind of stuff. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get to them. First, representing the Wolfpack, it is Skipper, Brett.
Hello. How's it going, friends? It's good to be here. It's good to be at Cinema Wars again. It's been a long time.
For sure. And you're facing an old foe, the Cinema Wars champion, Big J from
more ways
YOLO.
than one.
Yo, how's everyone?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm always good. Ready to have some discussions.
All right.
We talked about Cinema Wars, but what are the rules of Cinema Wars?
Very simple. There are 3 rounds: your opening statement, rebuttals, and more of a discussion, and the closing statement. There will be a cinema-related prompt in which competitors must find an answer for. Cannot be the same answer. A wheel will be spun to determine who will pick their answer first. Competitors will argue on behalf of their answer and will debate against the other competitors. The judges will grade each competitor out of 5 points for each round. Decimals are permitted, and the competitor with the most points at the end of the match will be declared the winner.
See what it lands on. Hopefully we can get some tension. It looks like we won't get any tension. All right, YOLO.
So I can't even believe I'm going to pick this movie because I never thought it was going to be hyped, but my pick is Barbie. This is a movie that when we started hearing about, everyone saw it as a joke. But now, like with all the hype of the cast, with Ryan Reynolds and Margot Robbie and everyone is really excited about this movie, to the point that people are discussing if they should see it on opening night against Oppenheimer, the Nolan movie. And after that trailer, they already had everyone, but now they got all of us, the cinephiles, because the trailer with the 2001 references, everyone now is excited about it. I just don't believe that a movie of Barbie is going to be able to live to the hype that it's getting. It's going to be a fun movie. It's going to be a silly movie. But the hype that he has now, it's like it's going to be one of the biggest masterpieces of the year. And it's going to give a run through the money of Nolan. And I think that's going to disappoint a lot of people in the end of the year looking back.
Okay, so my choice is for Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie is coming out in just a month. But regardless, I mean, this movie is being hyped up as a thing to start the Marvel multiverse thing. And you know what other movie that was supposed to be? It was supposed to be Doctor Strange, and it really didn't set up much of anything at all. Marvel's been doing this thing where they've been really baiting each and every of one of these movies as like, oh, this is the next big piece of whatever we're doing next with Marvel, and then it ends up really not being. Regardless of that, I think Marvel had 3 incredibly underwhelming movies last year that people didn't love as much as the best of Marvel. And so for me, I'm just believing that people are putting a lot of hype on this one to be like, maybe this is a thing that helps us like love the Marvel movies again, but I really don't think that's gonna be this movie. I don't love the trailer. It's a little bloated. It really doesn't give me a good feel of what the movie actually is. And again, I feel like it's just going to be a continuation of us realizing that Marvel really doesn't know what they're doing.
I think both were very good opening arguments, and YOLO emphasized how everyone seems to be going crazy for it, especially on Twitter. I see this, and I like how Brett backed it up with Marvel's previous year. How it's been underwhelming.
Yeah, the scores are as follows. And YOLO takes a slight 0.1 lead over Brett, 8.2 to 8.1. But Luke, we are now at the rebuttal stage. So, gentlemen, good luck. Whoever wants to get started.
Brett, you said everything in your openings. Like in the real world, people don't get more excited when movies start being shit. At the moment now, because of the year that Marvel had, no one is excited about any Marvel property coming out. If you like put on social media, you see everyone shitting on the movies that didn't even came out. And Ant-Man is no different. People are already expecting it to like flop, to be a bomb, because they are now going on, look at Black Panther, it wasn't that bad and still made no money, and people are like getting saturated with superhero movies. So I think if Ant-Man is any good, it's going to be a surprise. I don't think anyone at the moment is very hyped about.
I think we kind of live in a bubble, and in that regard, like, we are seeing what, film Twitter or what Instagram thinks of these. And I'm looking at this as like a general audience type of thing. The Ant-Man movie will do really well. It'll do really well. People will go see it. People are excited for whatever Marvel movie comes out. And that's why I think it'll be a disappointment, why it'll be overhyped. Number one, I think Barbie is right now mostly, once again, a film Twitter thing. But I'm going to take away, I think what your perception of it is, oh, it's a Barbie movie, it's a Hasbro movie. Why should we be anticipated necessarily for that? I take that out of it. It is a new Greta Gerwig movie written by Noah Baumbach. If the concept could be about anything and it would be anticipated, not only that, I have full confidence that it will be fantastic because of the talent that's involved in it. Let's go to the past real quick. The Lego movie, everyone was like, oh, that's going to suck. That's like, why? That's like a product. That's a property movie. Directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. It's great because those guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's animated movie, but it's an animated movie for kids, and that's exactly what people expected.
Well,
no
sure.
one knows what Barbie is going to be. No one knows what Barbie is going to be.
That doesn't mean that it can't be fantastic.
No, it doesn't mean, but the problem here is like the expectations. The expectations of this movie just completely like blew us away. And when we talk about talent in movies, like Amsterdam last year, they had like one of the best casts we saw in a very long time, and the movie was horrible. So just having the talent doesn't mean that it's going to be amazing. Like White Noise that just came out, written also by Noah, it wasn't very good and it wasn't accepted. So having him as the writer doesn't mean it's a success.
White Noise is great, but number two, White Noise is adapted from a pretty much unfilmable book. Barbie is pretty much a launching point.
Still, what they are trying to do here is something completely different that we don't even know what it is, because we have that property that we expect from Barbie. Then we have that trailer. Then we have that cast. Then we have the things. And no one, but everyone at the moment is excited for one reason or the other. If you're a Barbie fan, you're excited. If you're a Ryan Gosling fan, you're excited. If you're a Margot Robbie fan, you're excited. If you like that kind of movie and the visuals, you're excited. If you are someone in our bubble, like you said, and you saw that 2001 trailer, you are excited. If you look at Fandango pre-sale tickets and stuff like that, there's no like attention to Ant-Man like it was with Thor, Love and Thunder, like it was with Doctor Strange, because people now are putting a break on the expectations they get from Marvel, exactly because what you said last year just made people lower their expectations. Barbie, at the moment, the expectations have been rising. In the beginning, it was a joke. When we saw that there was going to be a Barbie movie and it was going to come out on the same day as the Nolan movie, everyone was like, oh my God, this is a joke. Now, if you talk with many people like, I'm one of them. I don't know if I want to see the Barbie movie first or the Nolan movie first, because I am really curious about what's going to be there. But the chances of me being disappointed are a lot bigger than me going into Ant-Man and seeing, oh, this is not going to start the next big thing of Marvel.
We are living in a bubble within here. I really do think that, like, whenever Barbie comes out, like, there will be like anticipation from us, but like the movie might end up doing like Pacific Rim numbers. I have no idea. It really depends on if there's just a certain demographic and group that will embrace this movie versus the rest of the world. And I think the rest of the world is going to really, really be looking at Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not necessarily that it's like selling as well as some of these other movies first, but it is the introduction of King the Conqueror kind of on a bigger scale, and it's setting up multiverse. It's kind of trying to set up what is going to be going on within the next Marvel universe. So if people don't like that, then like that's going to make, Marvel's going to be screwed over by that. And regardless of Barbie, I think the anticipation is not knowing what it is. If it ends up being a bomb, I kind of think that'll make it more of even a more interesting cultural artifact just because of the talent that's involved in the
But
thing.
the question is not what movie is gonna bomb. The question is what movie is gonna disappoint.
Exactly.
And the thing is,
But
like we
I
all
think
know Ant-Man is gonna make a lot of money.
Forgettable, and Barbie's not gonna be forgettable no matter what that movie is.
Again, it's not about being forgettable. It's about this being disappointment. It's about being disappointed. Like, for example, like it doesn't matter if it becomes a cult movie. Barbie might become a cult movie, but in terms of being disappointment means the more amount of people that are going to watch it expecting something are going to come out of it having something else. That's what it is when we say what's the movie that's going to disappoint the most.
Do you think Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut is a disappointment? Do you think that movie is a disappointment? Do you think
but we're not talking
culturally significance?
The thing is,
now people didn't like it, but now it's like regarded as a classic.
Yeah, but you're talking about many movies later. I'm not saying maybe Barbie in 20 years
have that type of relevance, and Barbie probably will because of what's involved in it.
But again, the question is not that, Brett. The question is disappointment of 2023. Like Luke said in the introduction, we are now in the end of 2022. We look back and we say this movie's disappointed us. That's it. We're not going to talk in 30 years, oh, this movie wasn't a disappointment because now it's been growing. That is completely different things you're talking about. It might be that Barbie in 20 years becomes like a cult classic, but you're talking about Eyes Wide Shut when it came out. Of course, it was a disappointment. People were expecting a sex movie with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. That's what they went to see. And when they came out, everyone was like, oh, I'm really disappointed. Was the movie good? Yeah, I love that movie. But in the end of the day, I'm not talking about me. We're talking about the general population. Who's going to come out more disappointed of Barbie or Ant-Man?
Your point of like, oh, some people think it's disappointing, some people will think it's good. Is every movie that has come out within the last 10 to 15 years. There's some people who are like, oh, I was disappointed in Everything Everywhere All at Once. But we want to.
Do you think anyone is disappointed of the Minions, for example?
Yeah, exactly. There's people who
no one is disappointed of the Minions. Everyone knows what they're going in to see. That is the thing. Like, if you go in and you expect to see stupid yellow characters being stupid, that's what you get. Even if you don't like the movie, you will never use the word disappointed. You'll say this movie was crap. But you're not going to say, I was expecting an Oscar performance from that Minion, and it didn't give me.
But
that
like
is the thing.
First Minions movie, people genuinely didn't like it because it was a disappointment to people because they didn't actually give them what they wanted. Regardless if there was yellow Minions on the screen, the new one, people enjoyed more because it gave them more of what they wanted. I'm afraid that Ant-Man's not going to give people what they want, and Barbie will for its specific demographic.
Yeah, for a specific demographic, but what's that one?
All right, so that's going to do it. That's going to do it. Okay. All right.
Essentially, the repulse stage expands the opening arguments, and we got exactly that. So let's see the scores.
Yeah, and Brett taking more of a general audience approach, which Agnolo usually does in his other arguments. So very interesting there as we head to the scores. Agnolo at 16.3 and Brett at 15.4. As we head to the final arguments, Brett, we're going to get started with you.
So what I'll say about Ant-Man versus Barbie is that Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be something that is discussed within YouTube channels, YouTube content, all of this stuff, film discourse, because every superhero movie is for the next who knows how long. And so it'll have all of this time to talk about how it was a disappointment and how it was underwhelming. And not only that, general audiences will have a lot of time to talk about how it was underwhelming, because these people, no matter what you think about what their perception of Marvel is, they are going to every single Marvel movie wanting the next big action comic book film because that's what they're expected to see. Barbie can only impress people. It is Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, so I don't think the movie is going to be disappointing. It might be for a couple people, but I think it's going to be a seismic kind of shift within the film culture because people, kind of in a similar way of the Lego movie, because people will be expecting something new and different and original and bonkers, and that's what they're going to get with this movie, with the talent involved.
So to start, I'm going to give you a break, Brett, because you don't have any daughters, so you don't understand how big Barbie is. Barbie is also bigger, is almost bigger than Marvel in many ways. Like, I watched Barbie movies all my life with my daughters because of how big it is for like this teenagers that grew up with Barbies and now are like watching this and they're like thinking, oh my God, what's going to be this? And then there's the kids that expect a Barbie movie. There's a lot of expectations from many sides, from the kids that expect a Barbie movie to these kids that grew with Barbie and want to see how did she grow up, what's going to happen. And then there's all the cinephiles that are also going to do YouTube things, they are going to do blogs, they are going to do all this. And the thing is, this movie is not going to be able to make everyone happy. And that is the thing. If Ant-Man is just another Marvel movie, the maximum that's going to happen is people are going to say, oh, it's not as good as this or that. A lot of people are going to complain. But in the end of the day, they will be there to watch the next Marvel movie.
The final scores have been calculated. We do have a winner. But before we get to that, your final thoughts on the final round.
Well, I have to say, after this discussion, I will be more careful with my expectations for both of these movies. Both great arguments from both sides across the match, and but there can only be one, unfortunately.
Yep, and I apologize for anyone who's looking forward to both of these movies, like you said, because I'm sorry if we ruined them for you. But that's what you get for listening to the League of Cinephiles. We're often accused of ruining movies that other people.
You're fine for anticipating Barbie. It's going to be masterpiece.
All right, and your winner, Big J from Agnolo, final score of 24.8 to 22.6. We really enjoyed your last argument. I think more than any your other ones are great, but this one particularly, especially when you brought in the personal experience and stuff like that. But overall, your thoughts on how the match went?
No, to be honest, I was really surprised how Brett came back with a lot of points of Ant-Man. I think he did a brilliant job with this. When I heard that he picked that movie, I have to be honest, I became quite confident that I thought it was going to be an easy thing, because I think Marvel at the moment, with all the crap it's getting, I thought it would be easier. But Brett made it a lot harder. So it was a great match by him.
Mr. Skipper, are you getting back on your boat, heading back to the shore now? What's next, for Skipper?
That's about right.
If you were to start this match again, would you do anything differently? Was there any movies you would kind of replace compared to Ant-Man? Your thoughts?
I don't know, because I kept thinking, number one, for me personally, I'm always like, I don't want any of these movies to be underwhelming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I go into every movie wanting it to be my favorite movie of the year, and then we'll see what goes from there, right? So it's one of these things where it's like, I'm looking forward to Ant-Man. I want to see it. But every time I see a trailer for it, I think about how excited I was for Black Panther or Thor or Doctor Strange. And I can't meet that level again because I've been burned 3 times. It's like 3 times you're out. You know what I mean? It's one of these things where I'm just like, all it can do is impress me, which maybe that was on YOLO's entire point.
The match is over. We heard it. Barbie will disappoint us. Unfortunately, it's official. League of Cinephiles never lies. Your thoughts?
Well, I'll be watching Oppenheimer instead that day. So, but I will watch Barbie the day after.
What a match we had on our hands today. Agnolo comes on top once again, 24.8 to 22.6 against the Skipper. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Cinema Wars related content like this. Make sure to follow all these individuals on their film related accounts. You can find links for those in the description below. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. Make sure you follow me on Alex Helmer at Letterboxd. Make sure you also follow the Critic Circle on Instagram as well. See you all later, and of course, ciao.